If you want to climb the ranks in Astro Arena 3 vs 3 Battle PvP, picking the right character is one of the biggest decisions you'll make. Every match feels completely different depending on who you bring into battle, and even though the roster isn't huge yet, every hero has their own strengths. Some are incredible at soaking up damage, some can delete enemies in seconds, while others keep the entire team alive or deal consistent damage from a safe distance. So if you're not sure which characters are actually worth investing in, you've come to the right place. In today's video, we're ranking every character in Astro Arena 3 vs 3 Battle PvP based on their overall performance, versatility, impact in team fights, ease of use, and how well they perform in the current version of the game. Whether you're looking for the strongest character to main, trying to build a better team composition, or you're just curious to see where your favorite hero lands, this tier list has you covered. Let's jump right in and see which characters dominate the battlefield and which ones fall behind. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Astro Arena. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Fran, Khalid, and Vulcan. You know a hero is living a rough life when players only remember them after running out of better options. That is pretty much where our C tier characters stand right now. They are not terrible, they are not unplayable, and they can absolutely surprise people in the right match. The problem is that Astro Arena 3 vs 3 battle player versus player rewards speed, aggression, and constant pressure, so these heroes have to work much harder than everyone else to get the same results. Let's start with Fran, our first tank in the C tier. His entire game plan revolves around protecting teammates and soaking up damage instead of chasing eliminations. His basic attack fires 3 projectiles, while Micro Missile launches a volley of rockets that can safely pressure enemies from a distance. If you build him around shields, Fran becomes surprisingly durable and can stand on the front line for quite a while. Unfortunately, surviving forever is not always enough when everyone else is flying around the battlefield looking for quick kills. Fran does his job well, but the current meta simply does not reward defensive tanks as much as it rewards heroes that can instantly threaten opponents. Next up is Khalid, and he is probably the definition of please give me just one more second. Among the ranged damage dealers, he has the highest base attack, which sounds amazing at first. The catch is that much of his damage depends on charging his shots before firing. When everything lines up, those charged attacks hit incredibly hard and can seriously punish enemies from long range. The problem is that Astro Arena rarely gives you the luxury of standing still while everyone politely waits for you to finish charging. Against slower teams, Khalid can absolutely shine because he has enough time to prepare powerful attacks and delete targets from a safe distance. Against fast assassins or highly mobile heroes though, things become much more stressful. By the time your attack is fully charged, your target has probably changed direction 3 times, escaped, or is already standing next to you. Until his charge mechanics become more forgiving or the overall pace of the game slows down, Khalid remains a very specialized choice instead of an easy recommendation. Now let's talk about Vulcan, another tank who definitely looks scarier than he sometimes feels in actual matches. He carries a gigantic hammer, has an enormous health pool, and is built to charge straight into battle. His abilities are designed for initiating fights, disrupting enemy positioning, and creating space for the rest of the team. On paper, he checks every box you would expect from a classic frontline tank. The problem starts the moment Vulcan decides to charge forward. His initiation ability often launches him much farther than his teammates can realistically follow, turning what should have been a coordinated attack into a very lonely adventure. Instead of leading the team into battle, he occasionally ends up volunteering for a 1 vs 3 fight. His slower movement and lack of flexibility make it difficult to recover once he gets separated, which is a major disadvantage in the current fast-paced meta. That is really the story of the entire C tier. None of these heroes are hopeless, and every single one has situations where they can perform surprisingly well. Fran offers dependable protection, Khalid delivers devastating long-range damage when given time to charge, and Vulcan can completely disrupt enemy formations with the right engage. They simply require more effort, better teamwork, or more favorable matchups than many of the higher-ranked characters. If future balance updates strengthen tanks or improve heroes that rely on slower mechanics, do not be surprised if this entire tier looks very different the next time we revisit the rankings. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Uth, Olga, and Sephir. If there is one tier where things start getting interesting, it is definitely B tier. These heroes are good enough to win plenty of matches, but they also come with flaws that keep them from climbing any higher. In the right hands, they can look incredible, and in the wrong situation, they can feel surprisingly average. That balance between strength and weakness is exactly what makes this tier so fun to talk about. First up is Oof, and if you have been waiting for a tank that actually keeps up with the pace of Astro Arena, 3 versus 3 battle, player versus player, this is probably your best choice. Oof is currently the strongest tank in the game because he combines durability, mobility, and crowd control much better than the other frontline heroes. His fast melee attacks let him stay aggressive, while Tria Grab pulls escaping enemies right back into the fight. Nothing is more satisfying than watching an opponent think they have escaped, only to get dragged back for an instant elimination. Even with all of those strengths, Oof still has one big problem that is completely out of his control. The current meta simply favors aggressive damage dealers and assassins over tanks. That means he has to work harder than many higher ranked heroes to create the same impact. Still, if future balance updates give tanks a little extra love, Oof could easily become one of the biggest winners and climb into the higher tiers. Moving on to Olga, she brings one of the more interesting mechanics among the ranged damage dealers. Her photon laser becomes stronger the longer it stays locked onto the same target, rewarding players who can keep constant pressure without losing focus. In a one-on-one fight, this can turn Olga into an absolute nightmare, slowly but surely melting even durable opponents while they desperately look for a way to escape. The downside appears the moment the battlefield becomes crowded. Olga is fantastic at deleting one target, but dealing with multiple enemies at once is a completely different story. When several opponents rush her together, keeping that laser connected becomes much more difficult. If your teammates are protecting you and creating space, Olga can deal incredible sustained damage. If they are not, things can fall apart very quickly. Finally, we have Sephir, a ranged damage dealer who is all about spreading damage across the entire enemy team instead of focusing on a single target. Her basic attacks can hit 2 enemies at the same time, and her abilities become even more valuable whenever opponents group together. During large team fights, Sephir can constantly pressure multiple targets, making her especially useful in game modes where coordinated battles happen more often. Overall, B tier is packed with heroes that are absolutely capable of carrying games when played to their strengths. Oof remains the best tank for players who enjoy leading the charge. Olga rewards patience and precise tracking with outstanding sustained damage, and Sephir shines whenever team fights break out across the map. None of them are weak by any means, but each has clear limitations that prevent them from consistently matching the versatility and dominance of the heroes waiting in the higher tiers. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Xeno, Faye, and Cherry. Now we are getting into the heroes that can genuinely take over a match. A tier is where you stop worrying about whether a character is good enough and start thinking about how much value you can squeeze out of them. These heroes bring strong damage, reliable abilities, and the flexibility to fit into almost any team. They may not completely dominate every game like the S tier picks, but if you master them, they are more than capable of carrying your team to victory. Let's kick things off with Xeno. The hero that proves simple does not mean weak. If you are new to Astro Arena, 3 versus 3 battle player versus player, Xeno is one of the easiest melee damage dealers to pick up, and he never really falls off as you improve. His attacks are straightforward, his abilities are easy to understand, and Assault mode gives him a noticeable boost in offensive power once you learn when to activate it. There are no complicated combos or fancy mechanics here, just reliable performance every single match. What really makes Xeno stand out is his consistency. He delivers dependable damage, has enough durability to survive close-range fights, and naturally fits into almost any team composition. He may not have Skull's incredible survivability or the game-changing utility that defines the S-tier heroes, but he almost never feels like a bad pick. Sometimes having a hero that always performs at a high level is worth more than chasing flashy plays. Next up is Faye, and if you like staying on the move while constantly pressuring your opponents, she is an absolute blast to play. Her basic attacks fire multiple bullets, giving her steady damage output, while roll and reload allow her to reposition without sacrificing offensive pressure. Instead of standing still and hoping for the best, Faye is always dancing around the battlefield, making life incredibly frustrating for anyone trying to catch her. The highlight of Faye's kit is her charged attack, and it is easy to see why so many players consider it one of the strongest attacks in the game. A well-timed charged shot can completely change the direction of a fight in an instant. It rewards smart positioning, good timing, and confident aim. While her overall damage can be a little less consistent than some of the S-tier heroes, her ability to burst down enemies and escape dangerous situations keeps her firmly among the strongest range damage dealers available. Last but certainly not least, we have Cherry, one of the deadliest assassins in Astro Arena. Her entire playstyle revolves around slipping into the enemy backline, deleting vulnerable targets, and disappearing before the opposing team can react. Her pulse-powered attacks deal fast damage, and her outstanding mobility lets her weave through fights with impressive speed. Of course, being an assassin means confidence alone is not enough. Diving into the wrong fight or staying too long after securing an elimination can quickly turn a highlight play into a very short trip back to the respawn screen. Overall, A tier is filled with heroes that reward both skill and smart decision making. Xeno offers dependable performance in almost every situation. Faye combines mobility with devastating burst damage, and Cherry gives aggressive players all the tools they need to dominate enemy backlines. They may fall just short of the absolute best heroes in the game, but if you invest time into learning them, they will have no problem winning games against almost any competition. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Zeble, Skull, and Shubi. And finally, we have reached the heroes everyone has been waiting for. This is the S tier, the home of the absolute best characters in Astro Arena, 3 vs 3 battle, player versus player. These are the heroes that consistently dominate matches, fit into almost every team composition, and rarely feel like the wrong choice. If your goal is simply to win more games, this is where you should be looking. One thing all S-tier heroes have in common is reliability. They do not depend on perfect teammates or extremely specific situations to shine. Whether you are climbing the ranked ladder, playing with friends, or jumping into solo queue, these characters always find a way to make an impact. They combine powerful abilities, strong versatility, and game-changing playmaking potential better than anyone else on the roster. Let's begin with Zeble, the hero sitting comfortably at the very top of the current meta. If there is one character that every player should expect to see over and over again, it is him. Zeble has everything an assassin could ask for: incredible mobility, reliable damage, and enough flexibility to both start fights and clean them up. Better yet, he is surprisingly forgiving to play, which means you do not need perfect mechanics to start getting great results. His claw attacks deal consistent close-range damage, but the real excitement begins once his skill gauge is fully charged. At that point, Zeble can unleash a devastating area attack capable of completely changing the outcome of a team fight. One well-timed activation can turn a losing battle into a huge victory before the enemy team even realizes what happened. Then there is Snatcher, which is easily one of the strongest mobility tools in the game. It allows Zeble to grab enemies or attach himself to walls, giving him endless opportunities to engage, chase, or escape. Trying to pin him down often feels like trying to catch someone who already knows where you are going before you do. That combination of mobility, damage, and accessibility is exactly why Zeble earns the #1 spot. Next up is Skull, a melee damage dealer who somehow refuses to lose fights he probably should have lost. At first glance, his base stats might not seem particularly impressive, but the moment combat begins, everything changes. Every successful attack restores part of his health, allowing him to stay alive much longer than most melee heroes. Just when opponents think they are about to finish him off, his health starts climbing again, and suddenly the duel is going in the opposite direction. Skull also brings fantastic utility to every fight. His leap lets him quickly close the distance while stunning enemies, creating excellent opportunities to start engagements or interrupt dangerous abilities. And then there is the ability that truly pushes him into S tier. 3 full seconds of complete damage immunity. Used at the perfect moment, it completely shuts down enemy burst damage and can single-handedly decide the outcome of an entire fight. Finally, we have Shubi, the hero who proves that playing support does not mean sitting in the background watching everyone else have fun. She constantly contributes meaningful damage while providing some of the strongest utility in Astro Arena. Bubble Boomerang damages enemies both on the way out and on the return, letting her pressure opponents from a safe distance without exposing herself to unnecessary danger. Her healing abilities make her even more valuable. She can restore the health of nearby teammates while damaging opponents at the same time, creating incredible efficiency during extended battles. On top of that, her healing dome provides continuous recovery for the entire team, making long team fights much easier to win. Even experienced players who know how to play around some of her abilities cannot ignore the amount of value she brings to every match. That is why these 3 heroes stand above everyone else in the current version of Astro Arena. 3 versus 3 battle, player versus player. Zeblade dominates with unmatched mobility and assassin pressure. Skull combines survivability with relentless melee aggression, and Shubi offers incredible support without sacrificing offensive impact. If you are looking for the safest characters to invest your time into, or simply want the best chance of climbing the rankings, these are the heroes that deserve the top spots on the tier list. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.